All right, if you're building anything with AI right now, we need to talk because there's a critical choice you have to make. Are you going to use RAG, fine tuning, or just good old fashioned prompting? Nailing this decision is, and I mean this, an absolute game changer. And no, that's not just a catchy phrase. Picking the wrong path here can literally cost you weeks of frustration and wasted money. This isn't just some tiny technical detail, it's the core strategic decision that will define your whole project.
So that's the big question, isn't it? Which path is right for you? Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out. By the end of this, you're going to have a dead simple framework to make the right call every single time.
Okay, let's dive right in. The first step on any of these paths, well, it's always the same. No matter how fancy your setup gets, every single interaction you have with a large language model starts right here, with prompting. This is the bedrock. I absolutely love this smart intern analogy because it just clicks. You're not trying to re-educate your intern, you're just giving them really clear instructions for the task at hand. It's all about how you ask. It's fast, it's direct, and you'd be shocked at how far you can get just by mastering your instructions. And this is exactly why prompting is always your starting point. I mean, look at this list. Need to reformat a bunch of text? Done. Need to generate a quick response? Easy. Need to stitch a couple of different software tools together? Prompting is the glue. It's fast, it's cheap, and a lot of the time, it's all you need. But here's the catch. What happens when you ask your smart intern about last quarter sales numbers or to summarize an internal document from yesterday? They're going to look at you with a blank stare, right? Because they've never seen that information. So what do you do when you hit that knowledge gap? Well, that brings us to the next level up, RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. If prompting was just giving your intern instructions, RAG is like dropping a specific file on their desk and saying, okay, the answer you need is in here. You're basically giving the AI an open book exam. And here is the most important thing to understand about RAG. You are not changing the model's brain. Not at all. You're just giving it some notes to read for this one specific task. Your system goes out, finds the right piece of info, and stuffs it into the prompt right alongside your question. Simple as that. So, this is your go-to whenever your model needs to know about things that are private, proprietary, or just new. Think about a support bot that needs to know about your latest product updates, or an internal tool that needs to search your company's private wiki. RAG is what keeps the model grounded in reality and stops it from just, making stuff up. Okay, so we've solved the knowledge problem. But what if your intern has all the right facts, but their writing style is just all wrong? What if you need them to consistently adopt a very specific persona or follow a really complex format every single time? What then? And that, my friends, brings us to the final path, fine-tuning. This is the most intense option of the three. To go back to our intern metaphor, this is no longer about giving them documents. This is like sending them off to a specialized graduate program. You are fundamentally changing how they think. With fine-tuning, you are literally getting under the hood and updating the model's internal wiring. You do this by showing it hundreds, even thousands of perfect examples of the output you want, until it learns the style and structure so deeply that it becomes second nature. This is your power tool. It's the one you pull out when you need to change the very personality of your AI. Let's say you need a model that only speaks in perfect legal jargon or writes code in a very specific, non-standard way. If you've tried everything with prompting and RAG and you're still not there, then it's time to consider fine-tuning. So here it is, the whole thing on one cheat sheet. And the trade-offs are super clear, right? Prompting is the cheapest and easiest, but gives you the least control. RAG is your middle-of-the-road option. It gives you control over knowledge, but you gotta manage the data. And fine-tuning? It gives you maximum control over the model's behavior, but it's gonna cost you the most in time, effort, and, well, cash. Okay, so we get the individual pieces. But how do we put it all together into a strategy that you can actually use? Well, it turns out the path to the right choice is actually pretty simple. This right here is probably the single most important slide. You follow this order, no exceptions. You always start with prompting. Push it as far as it can go. If and only if you hit a knowledge problem, you layer RAG on top. And only as a final resort, if you have a deep behavioral problem that the other two can't fix, should you even think about the cost and complexity of fine-tuning. But here's where it gets really interesting. Because the pros know that these aren't mutually exclusive paths. The most powerful AI systems out there, they actually combine these techniques. Just imagine this for a second. You could lightly fine-tune a model so it gets really, really good at following instructions and citing its sources. Then you could take that slightly smarter model and hook it up to a RAG system that feeds it your company's live, real-time data. What you get is a powerhouse, an AI that has both the perfect behavior and the perfect knowledge, the best of both worlds.
So in the end, it's not about just picking a tool. It's about diagnosing your problem. Is it a knowledge gap or is it a behavior issue? Once you know the answer to that, the path becomes clear. And now you have the framework to make that choice, save yourself all that wasted time, and build something incredible. So the only question left is, what's it going to be?